My Sunday confessional.
That's how I journal.
Today's like Sunday confessionals, and I was like, what do I have to confess? My journals are basically an open book. They used to not be that way, but I wasn't in a safe space then. I feel like I'm in a very safe space now. This is what my journal looks like.
This is a lot going on. And deciding how I was going to map out my week. You never know who's watching what you post. I mean, it really is. I had some feelings of fear, and I was like, okay, let me look at the emotional wheel. This one doesn't really fit it. Okay, so I do feel fearful. Maybe it's insecure. Maybe there's a sense of inadequacy. I do feel maybe scared, frightened, maybe anxious and worried. I was like, why do I feel this way? I started journaling, framing what my fear was.
That was powerful. That exercise alone was so powerful for me. It's not a technique I've ever recommended for anybody because I just created it for myself. I wrote in here, like, it doesn't matter what the fear is, just knowing that it's there and just moving through it. It does make a difference.
I wasn't sure what I was feeling or why. I don't need to know, but it helps my feelings.
You do need to know. So you can rewrite it. Write that feeling of fear.
So I thought I read this part. I can't seem to find it. I think I've lost it. When I was reframing my fear, I had to trace it back through feelings of insecurity. There's a sense of scarcity, vulnerability, being anxious and worried, feeling of inadequacy, and being frightened, which is probably a huge portion of my past life. Not my past life. I'm reframing my fear. I wrote, I see why my blank instilled feelings of inadequacies, insecurities about any decision, who I was, and this was to keep, which I know now, the sexual abuse, the verbal abuse, the emotional abuse, the physical trauma quiet. If I felt ashamed of who I am, then I wouldn't share. I wouldn't be at this place of enlightenment and wanting to change my path. There was this constant blaming of myself. So I can see this vicious cycle that I was in. I wrote, wow, this is sad and a horrible thing to put on a child. And, it makes me feel sick. And I know that that isn't the truth of who I am, but I have been living this truth. This seed was inside of me for a very long time. And it's weird. It's kind of like they talk about weeping willow roots and how weeping willow roots move towards, seek out water for nourishment. It doesn't matter. So normally you don't want to have a weeping willow tree planted in your front yard. It will move towards the plumbing in your house. And that makes total sense of trauma, childhood trauma, any kind of trauma is like a weeping willow root. It seeks out any way to survive. It makes sense for any child going through trauma. You learn to survive by any means, but those means don't serve me anymore. So that's what I wrote. Reframing my fear. Anyway, you can tell that was hard for me to get out.
So, my Sunday confessional.